Hello, and thanks for watching. Every day we are bombarded by bias and opinion through a variety of media formats, whether from television news programs or online outlets. Often, we do not even notice if something is objective or not. There are two categories of journalism, persuasive and objective. In persuasive journalism, the author wants to convince his audience that his point of view is correct. Pieces that fall under this classification often are referred to as accounts, columns, commentary, editorials, op-eds, which is short for opinion editorial, or reviews. Objective journalism refers to work that is fair, in that it simply conveys facts. These items often are called reports or articles. Ambiguous words such as feature, item, piece, story, and write-up can refer to either persuasive or objective work. It's not always easy to decide whether a news item is persuasive or objective. You need to evaluate it for yourself before you can make a decision about what to believe. In the case of editorials specifically, you know right away that they are opinions because they are unsigned items written by an editor, reflect the general position of the institution publishing or broadcasting the piece, and can be found in an organization's editorial section. Otherwise, making note of headlines, specific words, and phrasing can help you determine the categorization of a piece. Was the work written or presented in the first person? Why do you think an item was placed where it was? Which words did the writer and editor emphasize, and were the terms positive or negative? For instance, calling a person an ex-convict elicits different feelings than stating that someone served some jail time. When dealing with print sources, it's also helpful to observe the page design and note what is given prominence and where items are placed. Look at the quote selection. Who does the article quote as experts? What are their qualifications, and why do you think the writer quoted them? Finally, examine the photo selection. Why was a particular photo used, and does it evoke a certain emotion? Consider this op-ed from the New York Times. Why do you think this illustration was chosen to accompany the piece, and what opinion do you form about it? Do you think of Frankenfood or sterile laboratories? Let's take a look at the actual piece. By being aware of the words and phrases the writer used to describe characteristics of wholesome food and the history of its evolution, particularly in terms of agriculture, we can see that this commentary is in favor of nutritious, unmodified food, and that she wants readers to understand and agree with her perspective. Remaining or becoming healthy, avoiding diseases, and learning about taking control of one's body are subjects that a great many people identify with and easily can form opinions about. Now consider this item, again from the New York Times and about a similar issue. Consider the straightforward headline that clearly is another point of view and the first sentence. What message is conveyed? Confidence? Trust? Summoning emotions is one way to attract attention and try to convince an audience of a certain frame of mind. An accompanying photo depicts what appears to be a fairly healthy pig, probably in an attempt to demonstrate that genetically modified animals should not be feared. The words themselves persuade the reader into developing a judgment. At the end of the second paragraph, the writer asserts her opinion that a formal review process to approve a type of genetically modified fish for sale had gone on too long. By referencing scientific studies that support her stance, this reflection presents a very different bias from the previous piece. Now let's scrutinize an article, a fact-based news story, about a tangent of the GMO discussion that was posted on Rolling Stone's website. The writer stated only true information about a band's single that was written to address the artist's take on genetically modified food. Details presented in the piece are based on facts gathered by reporting conducted by the writer. The point of an item such as this one only is to inform readers of developing news from the world of music. The article's audience is not persuaded to form an opinion. It simply is given details and knowledge. Remember, the next time you encounter any form of journalism, whether on television, in a newspaper, or online, it is your responsibility to evaluate the piece for bias and opinion. Only then can you make educated decisions about matters that affect your life.